Welcome to the Glitch Report, your daily marketing botcast. Brought to you by Leadpages. Here are our hosts, Kai and Luna.
Today we're going to be taking a look at 3 big stories that have been developing over the last several weeks. All of these stories are going to have huge impacts for digital marketers going into 2025.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of these stories really highlight how quickly the digital landscape is changing.
Yeah.
And just how important it is to stay on top of these trends.
So that you're not left behind, right?
Exactly.
We're going to be taking a look at OpenAI's new video generation tool, Sora. We're going to be talking about the evolving landscape of internet services, who's on top now.
Right.
And we're going to be discussing Meta's upcoming policy changes regarding health data and how marketers can use that data.
Really, really important stuff. So let's jump in.
Yeah. So Sora, right? OpenAI. This is the same company that gave us ChatGPT earlier this year or late last year.
Yeah, seems like forever ago.
Right? It feels like it was just yesterday, but at the same time, it feels like it's been around forever.
I know. It's crazy how fast things move.
So they've launched a new tool called Sora, and it's a video generation tool.
Right.
You know, where you can give it text prompts, and it will spit out a video. Pretty wild stuff. You know, I've seen some of the examples.
Me too.
And it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
You know, really, it looks like something that was professionally produced.
Yeah, the technology is really impressive. You know, the level of detail that it can achieve. Like, I've seen some of these 1080p videos and they are just so crisp.
Yeah, it's wild.
And this is a big but.
Oh.
There are some limitations, and I think it's important to be aware of these if you're thinking about using Sora for your marketing.
Sure.
One thing is that all the videos created with Sora are going to have a watermark.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And OpenAI says this is to address concerns about misuse, you know, deep fakes and things like that. Which is understandable. I mean, it's a powerful tool, so they want to make sure it's not being used for malicious purposes. But for marketers, that could be a bit of a drawback.
Well, yeah, because if you want to use it for like a commercial or something.
Exactly. You don't want that watermark there.
Right.
And the other thing is that while it can generate these really amazing 1080p videos, they can take a while to process. So you're not going to be able to just whip up a video in a couple of minutes.
Sure.
It's going to take some time. And then there's the issue with let's just say legs sometimes end up facing directions they shouldn't.
So I've seen some of those examples, and yeah, there are some quirks, let's just say that.
Right.
With the technology right now. But I mean, come on, it's early days.
Absolutely. I mean, this is cutting edge stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it has the potential to revolutionize video marketing, but it's not quite there yet.
Yeah. So I think from a marketer's perspective, it's definitely worth keeping an eye on.
Absolutely.
Right. But I don't think you need to drop everything and, completely shift your video strategy.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And there are other tools out there that can help you create videos that are maybe a little bit more user-friendly.
Yeah, and maybe more affordable too, because Sora is not going to be cheap.
Yeah, I imagine it's probably going to be a pretty penny.
Yeah, so it's definitely something to consider, but I think it's important to weigh the pros and cons and see if it's the right fit for your needs.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the internet landscape as a whole. Who are the top dogs now? Who should marketers be paying attention to?
Yeah, well, the giants are still holding court. We've got Google, Facebook, and Apple. Those are kind of the big 3.
Yeah, the triumvirate.
Exactly. And they're locked in a pretty intense battle for dominance. They're all vying for our attention and our data.
All of our sweet data.
That's right. And right behind them, we've got TikTok, which has seen a huge surge in popularity, especially since late this summer. I mean, it's just exploding.
Yeah, I know everyone's talking about TikTok.
Yeah, it's the place to be right now, especially if you're trying to reach a younger audience.
And Instagram is still in the mix, right?
Yeah, Instagram's still going strong.
They're holding on.
They're holding on. They've got a very loyal user base, and they're constantly innovating, so I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon.
But you know what I thought was really interesting is ChatGPT.
Oh, yeah.
Is now in the top 50.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Most popular internet services.
Well, it's amazing.
Who would have thought that a chatbot
I know.
would become like a major player like that in just a couple of years?
It's a testament to how quickly AI is changing the way we interact with the internet.
And it's only going to become more prevalent, I think, going forward.
Absolutely.
But here's something else that might surprise you. Amazon Web Services,
AWS,
is making a serious play for a top spot.
Yeah, they are. They're actually challenging Microsoft for 5th place.
Wow. I had no idea they were that high up.
Yeah, they're kind of a sleeping giant. People think of Amazon as an e-commerce company, but their cloud computing platform is becoming incredibly dominant. And I think for marketers, this is really important to understand because it means there's more competition in the cloud space,
right,
which could lead to better pricing and services.
Yeah, because up until now, it's pretty much been like Microsoft Azure.
Yeah, Microsoft and Google
Cloud
have really dominated the market.
So this could shake things up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on.
All right, so we've talked about the big players, but what about those up-and-comers? Are there any like dark horses that marketers should be aware of?
Yeah, absolutely. I think e-commerce platforms like Temu are really starting to gain traction.
Temu.
Yeah, it's T-E-M-U.
Okay, I'm not familiar.
Yeah, it's a relatively new platform, but it's growing really rapidly. And I think it's a reflection of changing consumer habits.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, people are looking for more affordable options, with inflation and everything.
Sure.
And Temu is really appealing to that segment of the market. Yeah, and I think we're going to see more and more platforms like this popping up.
They kind of like try to undercut the Amazons and the Walmarts of the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so anything else?
Well, we can't forget about the impact of real-world events on internet usage.
Oh, sure.
I mean, this year we had the Paris Olympics and the U.S. elections.
Right.
And both of those events drove massive spikes in traffic to related websites and platforms.
It's like a real-time map of what the world is interested in.
Exactly. And for marketers, that's invaluable information.
Yeah, because you can kind of see where people's attention is going, and you can tailor your marketing accordingly.
Absolutely.
As you can kind of ride those waves.
That's right.
Okay, so let's talk about Meta now.
Okay.
They're making some big changes to their policies regarding health data. And this has a lot of marketers kind of scratching their heads.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty about how this is all going to play out.
So what's the deal?
Well, starting in January 2025, Meta is going to significantly restrict how advertisers can access and use health data on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, wow.
They say it's to protect sensitive information.
Okay.
Which is understandable, but it's going to have a major impact on industries that rely on targeted advertising.
Like healthcare and pharmaceuticals?
Yeah, health and wellness, financial services, even politics.
Really?
Yeah, because a lot of political campaigns use health data to target voters.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's a big part of micro-targeting.
Wow, so this is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it's a major shift, and I think a lot of marketers are feeling unprepared.
So what are some of the specific changes that are being made?
Well, one of the biggest concerns is the impact on hyper-targeted ad campaigns. Those campaigns that are based on data about user activity?
Like what they've purchased in the past.
Exactly. Past purchases, items added to a shopping cart, things like that. Accessing and sharing that type of data is going to become much more difficult.
Because marketers are going to have to get a lot more creative.
Yeah, they're going to have to find new ways to reach their target audience.
And it sounds like there's still a lot of gray area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how is Meta going to define health-related data?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Right.
Will vitamins marketed for specific conditions fall under these restrictions?
Sure.
What about products that aren't tied to specific health claims, but could be seen as health adjacent?
Like fitness trackers or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ambiguity, and I think that's what's causing a lot of the anxiety among marketers.
What should marketers be doing right now to prepare for these changes?
Well, I think the first thing is to just stay informed and, keep up with the latest news and announcements from Meta.
Okay.
And start thinking about how these changes might impact your specific business.
Sure.
If you're heavily reliant on health data for your marketing, you're going to need to start exploring alternative strategies.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to experiment. This is a new landscape, and we're all going to have to figure it out together.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
AI video generation, the evolving internet landscape.
Right.
Meta's data privacy changes.
A lot going on.
It's a lot to take in, but what are the key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, I think the big thing is that the marketing landscape is changing rapidly, and it's only going to accelerate in the coming years. AI is becoming more and more powerful, and it's going to have a profound impact on how we market our products and services.
Sure.
Data privacy is becoming increasingly complex, and marketers need to be very careful about how they collect and use data.
Right.
And the internet landscape is constantly evolving with new platforms emerging and old ones adapting.
Right.
So marketers need to stay agile and be willing to experiment.
It's not enough to just set it and forget it anymore.
No, you've got to be constantly learning and adapting.
So it leaves us with a question to ponder with all these changes and advancements. How do you think the relationship between technology, data privacy and marketing will evolve in the coming year?
Oh, that's a good one.
A big question.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how these different forces interact and how it all shakes out.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a three-way tug of war.
It is.
You know, you've got technology that's moving at like warp speed.
Right.
You've got data privacy, which is becoming more and more important. And then you've got marketing, which is trying to find a way to navigate all of this.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to watch.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for today, but we would love to hear your thoughts on this. You know, what resonated with you? What questions do you have? Leave a comment below.
Yeah, we love to hear from you.
And we're always exploring new topics and trends. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss an episode.
And until next time, happy marketing.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.